All right, Saturday morning, Oliver, Phil, and I are over at Eric's. We're going to work on his 1026 after the last weekend narrowing up my front end. We're over here. We're going to try to, after we got the engine in this thing, this project kind of stalled. So over the summer, we're all busy with other projects. So today we were going to try to make some big gains on getting this thing back together and getting to the point where it can be running. If you didn't watch the last video, this is a 1026 Gold Demonstrator. Eric found this, and then he discovered it was a Gold Demonstrator. Back here's the gold bodywork. He had the red paint stripped off it, and it actually looks like a pretty cool patina, but you can still see the gold. So that's the reason we're working on this particular one. That's why he got it, because it was a Gold Demonstrator, and he just thought it was pretty awesome. So we're working on this thing, and I'll document. He's got a cab sitting here that he's going to put on it when we get it all back together. He had the motor gone through. The motor's been painted. We dropped that in that other videos when we put the motor in, which was that's a pretty heavy motor. And so yeah, that's what our project is today. I got other things going this weekend, which I'll film later. But right now, we're helping Eric out and working on this tractor. All right, what we've been working on is we had this fitting right down here in the front under the radiator, was kind of touching on the radiator. So we did a little bit of grinding on top of that, and then kind of fitting it back and forth. Right now, Phil's working on getting the fan and the fan hub and everything lined up, but it's a tight fit. I'll step around this way, because in order to get it in there, it's right up against the radiator. So it just takes a little finagling, and then we're going to put a little bit of fluid in the radiator just to make sure that we don't have any leaks down there, because it did put a little bit of a dent in the bottom of the radiator when we put that in there. So we just want to make sure we don't have anything before we get too far. So when I was filming that before, then we realized that we had forgot to put the fan shroud on. So we put that in, which is a bit of a pain because it's very tight to get all this on there. So we've got the belt on now, got the fan blade on, got all that. Then Eric just ran to Napa because we were looking these two lines that go to the hydro cooler up here. They were full of mud dauber nests, so I just cleaned those out, took those off. But the rubber hoses that were going to them were they were old. So he's running up to get some hoses because he was out of hoses. And now we're starting to look at the wire harness, because we got new wire harness here. Where did the wire harness come from?
Porch Electric.
Porch Electric got a wire harness from. And we're going to start working the wire harness to get it on, and we're going to go from there. All right, we just got back from lunch. Before we went, Eric got back with the new hoses. We got the new hoses back in the cooler. Since this is a hydro, we put the air filter on and got it hooked up. We got to tighten these clamps up going into the turbo. But we got that on. Eric's got a new pre-cleaner and all that up there. He just wanted to see what it looked like. I think we're going to need to play with this. It's binding. I think we need to see if we can clock this hose and get it to where it's not kind of pinched down. But we're working towards getting some stuff on and then getting the wiring harness run. We believe that the wire harness, well, we don't believe, I think we know how it kind of runs and comes up here. Phil got the ether start assist put on there, and yeah, we're making some headway on this thing, slowly but surely, as it always takes time. We did see that the air filters that were up in there were from 1970, April 1970. So that's I think we told Eric, although he wants to keep this pretty original, he probably ought to update those. All right, we're gonna get back to work here and see how much more we can get done on this today. All right, we're still hard at work at this. We're working on wire harness. Joel just took out this gauge cluster. He's working on wiring that outside the tractor. And Phil and I have been working on getting the gas tank brackets set up so they kind of attach down here on the block. It's like a wishbone on the front, and the back are these two pieces here. And then what they do on the gas tank is the back ones,
I'm not insinuating that I heard, but
pinch
a rubber hose has been
down there, and they bolt in two spots there, and then the front ones clamp this part up there. And this is the other side of the wishbone on the front, which mounts here. I cleaned out those holes. They had paint in them, still loose, so that we can slide it down in there. And then, like I said, we've kind of pushed the new wire harness up through clamps in the old one. We're kind of, as we pull off old, we're putting the new right where it was. So we got it routed the same, make sure that we have everything hooked back up. And yeah, got a little bit of antifreeze back in it, and slowly but surely picking away at this and getting it where it needs to be. All right, after a full day, we got the gas tank back on. We've got it plumbed in. We've got a lot of the wiring harness back in. Joel did a good job of wiring up the gauge on the other side. It's still out. And we've got the tank on the tank. It's got mounting spots down there. You can see those shiny new bolts. It's also got two that are straight in there that we missed until we had it almost back together. And then it's got the three bolts up here at the front. So this side's looking pretty good. We ran the wire harness up over the tank, brought it down, and then it kind of goes up to the alternator there. So we've got it coming out there, kind of comes up through behind everything. And yeah, we've just got to continue wiring it and putting this thing back together. We did, the throttle linkage was froze up. We got that all freed up. So all in all, a very successful day. We got a lot further on this tractor than where we had been, and I think another few hours on this we could probably about have it running, and then get a little closer to being done for Eric. So he's going to try to leave this thing as much original as possible. So yeah, it's been a fun day, just hanging out with friends and putting this thing together. All right, it's Sunday after spending the day at Eric's yesterday working on the IH 1026. It's always a good day to help out buddies, and just, you know, had a good time with Oliver, Phil, and Eric, and Joel came over for a bit and got a lot of work done. Doesn't really matter the color of the tractor, as much joking as we do with each other. It's always fun just to work on something different and to have a good time with friends. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention old Nick Ohio MM. When he was here last week, he left me a little gift after he and Miss Ohio MM went to Burger King. He gave me a little crown, so I've got that displayed here in the shop. So today I got some projects to do around here. I had a customer send me some plates off of a G1000. His dad bought this tractor new, and they're in the middle of restoring it. He wanted my decal kits on the plates, so I'm going to go through and clean these up today and get them ready to do decals during the week when I get home from work. It's something I can do in the house. Really, the white paint on these is in really good condition, but as you can see, it's lost somewhat. So I'll do a little prep on these just to smooth down, but I'm not going to clean all the paint off of these like I normally do, because it's just in too good a condition. But I will do a little bit of light sanding where on the black up here, just so when I put the decal on, it doesn't look like you can't see the ridge from where that letter's gone. And I need to clean off the old caulk from the back, just a little bit more than what it is, and that's just as a courtesy to the customer, because that's a real pain to stick back on when it's got that on there. And there was a spot on here where this edge is a little marred up. I'll try to straighten that just a little bit for him, but I normally don't do the decal kits for people, but he asked me to, and I like the story behind the project, so I'll take the time to do these for him. And Oliver Phil did a little bit of work on the 950 manifold just to smooth it up a little bit, or trying to plane it down. The problem is there's just not much surface left there to really plane it out to get it nice and smooth. I've ordered a second manifold kit, or gasket kit from Welters. I'm gonna run 2 gaskets and some high temp RTV on these to get these sealed up. But and I think in the heating of this front end, I think we got the steering cylinder over here hot, and I think we might have, by the judging from the puddle, it's not a huge puddle, but we got a leak in there someplace, and I'm gonna guess it's gonna be a seal. I could be wrong. I need to do some research and see where I'm leaking from. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I'm seeing some of this coming maybe from up here, so it just might be a hose up here someplace. I don't know. I gotta research why I got something on the floor, but it would make sense that as hot as we had that front end, that's where the leak would be coming from. But one of the other things, today's a day of little things. So I ordered new mufflers for the A4T out front. That one was rusted out. Right now it's got the 950 muffler on it just to keep water out of it. I was able to get a new old stock muffler and then a Stanley. Definitely a difference in construction. Welded ends, kind of a spot welded end. The body of the new old stock's about 1 inch longer. The outlet on the Stanley is a 2 3/4. On this one's about 2 1/2. Just a few little differences. So anyway, they're beat up because they both have the paint all scratched up on them. So I'm going to throw those in the sandblast cabinet today and get them stripped, and then high temp paint them. And then I got a new bands for the bottom. I'll get those painted at the same time so they don't look weird being silver on black mufflers. I ordered rain caps, but they're not here yet. I got from McMaster Car, I got studs for the manifold on the 950, but these are 4 inch, and what was on there's 3 inch. So I know at least 4 of them I got to cut about 1 inch off because they were it was in there pretty tight to get those off. So I think I'm gonna have to cut those down about 1 inch, chase those threads. So I'll do that in a little bit. Before I do that, I'm gonna just fit it up and make sure that I have to cut 1 inch off, but I'm pretty sure I do. So those are all my little projects for today. I got the heat going. It's windy and cold outside. Got the second heater over there blowing in the direction where I'm gonna be painting stuff. And yep, that's the list today. So I'll bring you along as I do these little things, but I'm not gonna record the whole thing because it's a lot of little things. Like me sandblasting in the sandblast cabinet is not something anybody wants to watch. So we're gonna keep picking away at these little things. All right, I got both mufflers sandblasted. I got my 3 clamps Scotch Brided and ready. And down on the floor there, I'm just gonna do the bottom of the oil pan for the Kohler 14 horse, because I'm gonna paint the rest of that motor later, but it'll be setting on that oil pan. So I just want to get the bottom of it painted. And one thing I didn't mention earlier is in the whole ordeal of breaking apart the front end of the 950, I think y'all know I broke the Harbor Freight Chinesium wrench, and so in there I decided I needed a better one. So I got on eBay and I found this rigid 4-footer, which, just as a comparison, is a massive wrench. But I think I was telling Oliver Phil, I think, and neighbor Carl, we're set now. I mean, this thing is made of solid steel. It's an old one that's been, somebody touched it up, but it's got the original sticker on it. Made here in Ohio, Elyria, Ohio, so you know it's going to be good. I mean, if it was made up in that state up north that has that ugly maize and blue stuff, it probably would break when you looked at it. Just got to say that for Moline Dan. But anyway, that's here on the shelf. We were at Eric's yesterday working on that 1026. We were looking at the front end of that, and the front end of that tractor is so much lighter made than the Moline front end, and we're gonna have to narrow it up. And Eric doesn't want to destroy the original paint, and I said not a problem. I don't think we're gonna have to heat it because we now have the difference maker here, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'm gonna throw some paint, and then I got to clean up those side emblems. I'm not going to get to the studs today, I don't think, because I had to mess around with the sandblast cabinet to get it set up to do this. So I'm going to get this, at least this much done while I got heat going and some heat on these things so they cure a little bit. Well, I got the front plates cleaned up pretty good. I sanded down on top of the black letters. I cleaned the worst of the caulk off the back. Well, I missed a little bit there. It has some rust in it. I'll clean that up a little bit better. But that's why I just wanted to get the worst, where it's got the rust, where it pulls the paint off. Can't believe I missed that. I think the other one I got a little bit better. It's just hard to get that off. I don't know what they made that caulk out of, but it's good stuff. And I got the mufflers and the clamps in the bottom of the oil pan painted. So got the heat on them still. Here for another few minutes till I go in the house. But that will help that cure, and then they'll set this week, because I doubt that I'll mess with them this week. Joe Pro wants me to do a noise or a volume comparison between the two of these, and I can do that on the 950 when I get the should have the gaskets Monday. So maybe next weekend we'll do a sound comparison between new old stock and Stanley. I already know what's going to happen. Well, got a good feeling I know what's going to happen. So I think that's about it for this video. I'm gonna work on those nameplates this week. Hopefully work on, I got to shorten the studs for this. I got to first get the intake manifold out and check, but I'm pretty sure I got to shorten them. So I'll work on that this week, because that's something I can do in the evenings, because it doesn't take a whole lot of time. I'm going to figure out where my leak is coming from on the other side. I got to pull off that other side of the hood and get up in there. Hopefully it's just tightening a clamp. And then next weekend we'll see what that brings. Hopefully I'll have be putting that back on and doing a sound comparison, and who knows what else. It's always a project to do, something to work on. I need to finish this 114. Need to adjust the valves. They're up just a little, and it's at top dead center, so I know they need adjusted. But little things like that, just picking away at these projects, meanwhile helping other buddies with their projects. And you know, it's my stress relief from the real job, because last week was a pretty stressful week. So Mrs. Ohio MM yesterday was like, spend as much time as you want working with your buddies on these tractors, because I know you need to get away, and I really appreciate that. So until the next video, again, thanks for watching and liking, and please subscribe if you haven't. And we'll keep making these videos for the beautiful yellow and other color tractors too. And yeah, we'll keep having fun with these things.